Alright, so you've just gotten your microblading done. I want to go over aftercare because I know there was a lot of things we talked about and I'm sure you're probably going to forget, and that's perfectly normal. So in your aftercare bag that looks a little bit like this, you got some instructions on how to take care of your microblading. So I want you to remember a few really important things. Number one, you always want to use clean hands when you're working or touching your tattoo or your permanent makeup because you don't want to risk infection. You also only want to use the aftercare that's been provided to you. So I've given you probably some A&D ointment, or maybe I've given you a little tube of brows, eyes, and lips. So depending on which aftercare I've given you, that's what you're going to use. If you happen to run out, you can always go to the store and get some vitamins A&D ointment in the baby section. Just make sure that it's ointment, not cream. Another thing you're going to want to know how to do is to wash your hair. So I've provided you with some shower shields. These shower shields have a sticker that you peel off. And once you peel it off, you can stick it to your forehead. And now it's protected. It's protecting all of the work that's there. Now these stay pretty sticky, honestly, and they're not really touching the actual brow. So if you wipe it down, you can always use it. Just don't wipe the sticky part. Just wipe the front down in case there's any moisture on there from, just the breathing and the condensation. You can use these up to twice each. They're very sticky. So it might feel like you're peeling off a Band-Aid, so be warned. Let's also talk about what you do with the soap that you get. So I give you some soapy water in your bag. After 7 days, you're gonna wanna dispose of this, okay? You no longer have to use the soap. This is really important the first 3 to 5 days. Days 5, 6, and 7, it's really just a matter of just staying in the habit of keeping your brows clean. But after that, you can resume using your normal soaps and your normal care that you would use for the rest of your face. Let's talk about just general instructions. On day 1, when you leave here, that is considered day 1. When you leave here with the fresh brows, you're gonna wanna make sure that you're wiping any lymph that builds up. Now, lymph technically looks like juice, or it looks like wetness, moisture, sweat beads on the brow area. When you see that, if you let that dry up, it will turn into a scab. So you want to make sure to take your sterile water wipe if you're on the go. That's why I give them to you. Open it up and you're going to gently wipe that lymph off, okay? If you don't have any lymph building up, you can go ahead and reapply some ointment. And when I say reapply, I don't mean you have to put a lot. This is not like a wound. You don't want to suffocate the brow. So you're going to take a little bit of your ointment, put just a rice-grained amount on your Q-tip, of course with clean hands. You're going to take your Q-tip and you're going to go in the direction of your hair as well as behind the hair. You want to make sure that the ointment's actually touching the skin. Okay, that's the most important thing. You're going to apply that ointment about every hour, especially if you have dry skin. Now, if you have very oily skin, chances are you probably got a combo brow, but if you got a microbladed brow, you're going to apply the ointment maybe every 2 hours. Now, that's on day 1, okay? Right before you go to sleep on day 1, you'll take some of the soapy water that I've given you, take your cotton pad or your sterile water wipe, put a little bit of water on it, and just gently wipe away all of the ointment that's built up throughout the day, okay? Then you're gonna reapply that last thin layer and go to bed. I do recommend that you use some darker bed sheets or pillowcases so that you don't stain your bed, because it is normal to see pigment. Every day as you're wiping, you're gonna see pigment, but you're not actually getting it out of the skin. It's basically what's closing up and superficial on the surface. So I wouldn't recommend having white pillowcases. Day 2, here we are. Now you wake up in the morning, you showered, you used your shower shields, you washed your face like normal, but you pretended like your brows did not exist. You didn't touch your brows, because a lot of times our cleansers are much stronger than the soap that I've given you. They might have chemicals in them like retinol, they might have some kind of acid like a glycolic or a salicylic acid. You don't want anything to get into those brows, so I recommend that you wash your face gently all around and then take a damp cloth and just wipe away any excess soap that's on your face, and then you treat your brows separate from your face. So you'll take your soapy water again. You can wash your hands, take a little bit of soap, gently make some bubbles, and just go into the brow, making sure that you're getting any of that buildup and that everything is coming off. Then you take your cotton pad and wipe that away. Once you wipe it away, you can now take your Q-tip and your ointment, put a little bit on there. Again, reapply, make sure that you get it in the hairs and behind the hairs, and then you're good to go. Around lunchtime, you're gonna find that you're gonna feel a little bit dry. So if you feel dry before then, feel free to reapply some ointment. This is really a very, very customized aftercare because you have to feel your brows and to know when to reapply. If they feel itchy, if they feel tight, if they feel like you just want to scratch so bad, that usually means that they're getting dry. And we don't want them to get dry, okay? We want the brows to feel moisturized, but also not suffocated. Because when you suffocate it, it actually pulls pigment out as well. And it creates more buildup. And we don't want that buildup to eventually turn into a scab. And if they're too dry, then you'll start flaking prematurely, and every flake that falls off takes along some pigment with it. So then you'll have splotchy brows. So it's really important to find that happy medium. Feel free to reapply throughout the day. Again, a good rule of thumb so you don't forget is morning, noon, and night. But you're only going to wash in the morning and at night. That's when you want to get all the buildup off from the night before and all the buildup off from the entire day. How long will you need to do this for? So typically you're going to heal within 5 days. So anywhere from 3 to 7 days is our average time frame. Some people heal really quickly. Some people take a little bit longer. Now, if you're a diabetic or if you have impaired healing, it might take you a little bit longer to heal. So you're going to continue this process past the 7 days until you find that your skin is fully closed. And how do you know it's closed? You take a cotton pad and you rub on it, or you look at it really closely in the mirror. Always send me a picture and I can tell you if the skin is good to go. So hopefully I'm able to answer any of the questions or stresses that you might have had about aftercare. And if you do still have questions, feel free to ask me. You have my phone number, you have my email address, you have every access to me, and I would love to help you in any way that I possibly can. Thank you so much for trusting me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon for your follow-up or in a year for your annual touch-up. I will see you later.